Good evening, everyone. Dr. Fred McKinney will be joining us shortly on the Tom Ficklin radio show, and as well as maybe some other friends as well. And we're going to talk about a really serious issue. Well, every day since we've been on the planet, I suppose we could say that there's a serious issue, but the upcoming election. Um, and Dr. Fred McKinney has written an op-ed piece in the various publications. He's now full time at the BJM Solutions, and I'm going to ask him to mention a few comments about what that involvement means and what the BJM Solutions provide. I had a chance to meet Dr. Fred when he was the leader of the Connecticut at that time, the Connecticut Minority Supplier Development Council, and then it kind of merged and grew into the Greater New England Minority Development Supplier Council. Dr. Fred also worked at Dartmouth in terms of a business leadership position, business leadership development, and executive training, and as well at the at Quinnipiac University in terms of business leadership and development. But his article, "The Right to Vote and the Constitution," which he wrote in late August, we're going to walk through it almost line by line because I think it's so relevant as we think about November, and not only think about November, but act in November in terms of the opportunity that we have as citizens to exercise our really our freedom of expression, our freedom of civic, and I'll call it civic expression. Uh, but it's a very, for me, the article, because I love his story and I love her story, pertains to the Constitution, and I think we lose sight of the attempts to restrict and define who is eligible to vote. Simply put, consider the fact, when did women have the opportunity to vote in national elections? Just how many years following 1776 did it take for women to have the right to vote? So Dr. Fred will be joining us shortly, and just wanted to kind of give that brief introduction for him. Some of the key phrases that we're going to discuss are property and voting rights, and residential rights, and identity theft, but also more importantly, how state governments have a chance to, and have had a chance to, define who has the right to vote. We take it, some, unfortunately, in the past we may have taken it for granted, but certainly there are those that died who did not take it for granted and understood the viability and the cogency and the power of it. I'm an elected official here in New Haven, Connecticut, and it really just uh, challenges me to speak every day between now and November, but also after November for that matter, just to share with folks uh, that the November national date of expressing your sentiments is not a one-off, that it's really a 365, 24/7, 365 situation. But certainly in November, you have a chance to really be historically recorded, if you will. Uh, Regardless of what happens in November, there are going to be a number of folks that are going to be dissatisfied. And I mention that now because I do not have a crystal ball in terms of how people will react after November, and how those people that will vote for the person that loses, how they will not only react, but act and reorganize and redefine and challenge those that won. Uh, it's a fascinating time to be here in North America, uh, but I suppose it's a fascinating time to be on the planet at any point in time. We have more information that I think sometimes deceives us into thinking that this moment is the most important moment. And it is in terms of your being alive. But every important moment when you look at history, you can see whether it's World War One, World War Two. Some would say even we're on the verge of World War III, in referencing to the current and continued eruptions in the Middle East, Sudan, uh, the South China Sea, Venezuela, just issues that pertaining to really some of the words in the Constitution, life, liberty, and the Declaration of Independence, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. How does that happen? And how does the pursuit of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, how do you can everyone run that race, be involved with that pursuit without handicaps or obstacles? It dawns on me that sometimes this pursuit of the life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, some of us have to run in a steeplechase. As some of you may remember the Paris Olympics, where the steeplechase, you run through water, you jump over hurdles, you go around barriers, etc. And some folks seem to be running the pursuit of happiness in terms of a steeplechase, and others seem to kind of make it. It can be like a 100-yard dash, like clear sailing. But regardless of the metaphors and perceptions of the past, this upcoming November is a current reality, and the article that Dr. Fred commentary that he submitted, uh, it in my mind is just so cogent for us to use really as inspiration, to use as inspiration, and to have the spirit to be inspired for that matter. So he'll be joining us shortly, and again, it's a pleasure to kind of be with you once again. Hope your day and your evening and your life is one of blessings, and certainly we all have challenges. But I think for the Tom Ficklin Radio Show, we've been doing this since 2015 on WNHH 103.5 FM here locally in New Haven, and we're fortunately through the internet available uh, worldwide, and particularly if you go to the New Haven Independent on Facebook or just the New Haven Independent website online, e-zine. Or you can just email me and I can email you the link directly, because my shows are also archived at on the New Haven on Facebook. But you can email me at tomficklin@aol.com. Yes, I use AOL.com. It's some people consider it an ancient moniker. It's not Yahoo or Gmail, but I like AOL, and it gives me a chance to kind of share with folks that I've been involved with this communication. I'll say communication communion. Sometimes it's a communication dysfunction, but in generally, I think it's a communication communion um, for some time. So TOMFICKLIN, Tom Ficklin at AOL.com. If you'd like more information, or even just comment, or just for us to kind of continue our dialogue in a more detailed fashion. Just want to give it a few more minutes for Dr. Fred to kind of sign in on. And by the way, although these shows will be aired, as I say, in an archival mode, but also if you listen to it in the next week or next 4 or 5 days, you can hear Dr. Fred at the Black Expo that was going to take place here in New Haven. Uh, today is we're taping this on Tuesday, September 24th, so this weekend. But even if you listen to it after the Black Expo has ended, it's there's an excitement in terms of, I think, economic development worldwide, for that matter, and black black diaspora economic development, whether it's in the UK or uh, in the motherland, et cetera. I think you can feel the vibrancy. There's this phrase that, that people are using in terms of feeling the vibe, or um, checking out the vibe. And I think there's a vibe, there's a trend, there's a spirit, I'll say, use that word, which is an ancient word, perhaps. There's a spirit that's moving to encourage and clarify, and I think could cajole even, and enabling us to coalesce around this affirmation of unity. And unity is, I think when we view it from a quantum standpoint, it's not a linear standpoint, but when we view unity from a quantum standpoint in terms of multi-layers interacting, but still with a common purpose. I think you can see that folks are kind of trying to uh, to row, to be in everyone to be in the boat and to row uh, to the best of our ability and in rhythm. If you think of the rowboats, et cetera, even that kind of metaphor I think is appropriate. That you have some people that are stronger than others, but we all can kind of put our hands on the oar and help out with things and encourage one another. Encouragement is so key right now in this day and time from my standpoint. It really is key. And some would say even love is always what the world needs more of. And I'll subscribe to that. Absolutely. I'll hit that like button. But encouragement, love, nurturing, being kind, all those good words I think are key as we hear, particularly in terms of our civic discourse, our national discourse leading up to November. Uh, People characterizing others as bad, as evil, as devilish, and that might be true. Uh, and it might be true that we as the human species have good and bad sides to our personality. But I'm suggesting that we can develop and exercise more intently our love. I'll use the term love muscle. How can we exercise our love muscle daily? We do other daily exercises, and everyone knows about the 3 to 5 days a week that one should exercise to some degree, regardless of your age. But I think also if you think of your that your love that muscle is that love is a muscle that can be exercised and expanded and always to become stronger. And I think in the same way of this metaphor, if you don't use your love muscle, it kind of atrophies. It becomes less than it once was in terms of its power and effectiveness. So I say all that to say uh, that it's really key for us to exercise our love muscle and and also quite frankly the loving yourself muscle. It's I think oftentimes we perceive a dichotomy between our external expression of love and our internal expression of love, our external expression of love to others, and even loving yourself. And we hear so often this term, "know thyself." That phrase, "know thyself," and that's where your power is. And I think the reason that phrase has remained so much in our vocabulary is that sometimes the self can be a mystery. We can be perhaps, and perhaps you can see the effects of it in my mind that we can be a mystery to ourselves. We can be a mystery to ourselves. So exploring the self, and I think to discover the various sides of yourself and the potential of the self. I think love. I think love is the key part. Exercising your love muscle. Hello,
Hey, Tom?
can you get in?
No, I can't get in. I just sent you an invite to a Teams. I don't know. Zoom doesn't work for me for some reason.
Okay, let's do it that way.
Okay, so I sent you an invite to a Teams meeting. I'm on that right now.
All right, good. You send it to my AOL.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
See you shortly.